Today we are looking at the product that can completely transform the way you listen and the way you mix. Is the ARC Studio by IK Multimedia. So if you have ever struggled with mixes that sounds great in your studio but fall apart in your car, headphones or on another system, this little box might just be the solution for you. So let's dive in. Anyone who works with audio knows this. Your room matters as much as your monitors, sometimes even more. So the size of the room, the walls, the furniture, even the desk in front of your speakers, all of this alters the frequency response and the stereo imaging of your monitors. So the result, well, mixes that sounds fine in your studio but completely fall apart in your car, on headphones or on another system. That's why so many high-end studio monitors now feature active room correction, because it ensures what you hear is accurate and translates everywhere. This video in some way is sponsored by IK Multimedia. No money, but IK Multimedia sent me this unit to try out and they left me the unit to keep. And I really appreciate it and I really love the unit. However, all the opinion will be mine and you will listen, of course, the sound test. ARC Studio brings the same technology within reach of everyone. The system includes three elements: the standalone hardware processor, the ARC4 measurement software, and the included, as you can see, measurement microphone. So it works with any setup: home studio, project studio, even console-based professional rigs. Okay, but how does it actually works? Well, let me show you the calibration process. Just connect the included measurement mic to your audio interface, then ARC4 software guides you step by step, asking you to place the mic in several positions around your listening spot. Once it has the data, the software creates a 3D correction profile of your room. That profile is transferred into the ARC Studio hardware, which applies it to your monitors in real time. From that moment on, the processor works completely on its own. So you place it between your audio interface and your monitors, and it corrects everything in real time. No plugins, no drivers, no hassle. Trust me guys, it's very, very simple. It only takes a few minutes, but the difference it makes is enormous. In this test, I've used the IK Multimedia Precision monitor system, my white version. IK Multimedia provided me also this unit for free, so huge thanks to IK Multimedia. At the beginning, I didn't like it so much, the sound. They are very, very dark in sound. And I struggled a bit when I mixed something through those monitors. But now, when I received the ARC Studio, wow was my first impression because it really helped me a lot to get the right sound for my room. Probably the sound that I got from the IK Multimedia was not correct for my room because it was a bit dark, a bit boomy, and my room also emphasized the boomy effect. But with the ARC Studio, guys, the sound now is perfect. I clearly listen everything from these monitors and I love these monitors. Now let's hear the result. ARC Studio gives you tighter and more controlled low end, a more balanced mid-range and much clearer stereo imaging. It's like your mix suddenly snaps into focus. That's very cool. And keeping in mind that my room is very strange because it's not only a recording studio room, home studio. It's filled up with different things. I've also here a gym spot, so it's very particular room, and this corrects very well all the issues. On the technical side, this is a seriously well-built unit. In fact, the ARC Studio used the AKM Velvet sound converters, chosen among the very best for transparency and fidelity. The specs are impressive. 120 dB of dynamic range, 0.5 Hz, 0.5 Hz up to 40 kHz frequency response, which is mind-blowing, ultra-low jitter and distortion. So keep in mind that the ARC Studio is sonically invisible. It doesn't color the sound, it only applies the necessary correction. So what you are listening in the specific room is not in the song, okay? Is what you are hearing, so it's helping you to mix better, to listen clearly what you are mixing. So this means that you can also use it on Spotify, for example, or iTunes, or whatever kind of software or platform you use for listening to the music, because you are listening to music in a room. For example, here on my desk, this is not only a spot for music production for me, I also listen to the music here. And basically, I'm listening to music through my speakers, yes, but in my room. So what I listen is also all the reflection in how my room sounds. So what I'm listening here could be different than what I can potentially listen in another room with the same speaker. And this is the correct translation in different rooms. So you can also use this loading different kind of profile, and depending on which room you will listen, maybe you have different studio space, you can load your profile and listen in perfect mode. So ARC Studio goes far beyond basic correction. We have target curves, 9 factory curves, optimized for different genres and listening needs, adjustable frequency ranges, correct the full spectrum, or just focus on bass treble while preserving your monitor's character. That's very important. And you have also variable solution, more surgical for tricky rooms or smoother for already treated spaces. We have also 2 phase modes, the natural phase, improving stereo imaging, and also the linear phase, preserving of course the inter-channel phase coherence. And one of my favorite features is the monitor emulations. That's very interesting because the ARC4 lets you transform your setup into over 20 different speaker profiles, from legendary studio monitors to hi-fi systems to smartphones also. So it's like having a wall of reference speakers without spending a dime extra and without leaving your studio to check mixes in the car, for example. That's super cool and time-saving, in my opinion. One of the biggest advantages of the workflow of the ARC Studio is that it runs at 0 latency, so it's perfect even while recording. You don't have to load CPU with software because it runs all here in this hardware. Very cool. So no more plugins on the master bus and no more messing with direct monitoring. Plus, you can save multiple profiles, different sweet spots for yourself, for collaborators or clients, switching between them in instance. So for example, keep in mind you are listening maybe in the sweet spot near field your monitor, maybe you have, I don't know, a sofa behind 4 meters. You can have different sound and you can switch, of course, the profile to let you listen to your collaborators or maybe to your clients. That's very interesting. So the processor includes a relay-based hardware bypass, so your monitor are always protected from pops or noise if power goes out. That's really important. And with firmware updates, ARC Studio is future-proof. As your studio grows, the unit will continue to evolve with new features. But of course, there are some cons. Doesn't replace the acoustic treatment. ARC Studio corrects a lot, but it can't change physics. If your room has major acoustic issue, for example, big resonance, flutter echoes, no absorption, you'll still benefit from basic treatment first. So ARC Studio is amazing, but it works best alongside even minimal acoustic treatment. And keep in mind, we have, of course, extra conversion stage because we have inside the AD and DA converter. Since it's between your interface and your monitors, your signal goes through an additional AD and DA conversion. It's extremely transparent with these converters. We have 120 dB of dynamic range, but purists might not love having any extra conversion in the chain. We have also limited input and output. It's stereo only, no multi-channel or surround correction. If someone is doing immersive mixing, for example Dolby Atmos, the ARC Studio won't cover that. Maybe an update, maybe a new hardware, I don't know, but for the time of this video, only stereo. And the setup requires measurement process, of course, it's not instant plug and play. The calibration is very quick, 5-10 minutes, but you do need to run through mic placement and measurements. Not complicated, but not 100% plug and play, let's say. And we have also software dependency for updates and profiles. While the hardware runs standalone, you still need a computer and an ARC4 software to create or update the profiles. Talking about the price, compared to software-only correction tools, I don't want to name other correction tools, but you know, there are plenty of software correction. The ARC Studio is more expensive, but the hardware advantage is you don't need plugins. It works at zero latency. That's freaking important for me. And it applies to everything you listen to. So not only just your DAW. To wrap things up, the IK Multimedia ARC Studio brings professional room correction technology to everyone. Whether you have an untreated home studio or a professional control room, this little box drastically improves the accuracy of your monitoring, helps you mix faster, and most importantly, lets you trust what you hear. As you can see, it is very compact and easy to set up, reliable, and honestly a game changer. For me, it's one of the smartest investments you can make if you're serious about your sound. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment below, let me know what you think about this technology, and I'll see you, of course, in the next video. Bye.